Okay, so today we're going to be talking about Gemini. And Gemini has a lot to do with our mind, our conscious mind, and is the first of the intellectual signs that we're going to be discussing in this series. So, Gemini has a big relation to our hands, to our shoulders. So, um, with this alone, we can say that they have a lot to do with our actions. So this is a very Mercury kind of thing. It's like um, everything starts with your head. It's the ideas that is Aries, and um, you plan things and make decisions, learning how to develop things with Taurus, and that has a lot to do with our mouth, our speech, being careful with a lot of things, and implementing things is one of the traits of Gemini, and it can have a lot to do with advertising, marketing. Those are the kind of stuff that you can encounter with a Gemini person. Um, they are really, really good salesmen. You know, they can be good at recruiting someone, those sort of stuff. And they're really, really good with the hands. And Gemini is always a sign that always thinks about something. They always comes in twos. And remember, the sign of Gemini is the sign of the twins. So everything is two. So you could encounter that a lot of Geminis are either have a split personality or kind of two-faced. And you would encounter that, especially if the Gemini is un, undeveloped Gemini, those sort of stuff. They tend to notice a lot of things, a lot of details. And sometimes these details are not really that important, just the mundane stuff. Like, I have, I know a friend of mine, um, he's a guy, and he tends to notice like a scar on a woman's leg. It's something that I really wouldn't care unless it's very visible. But for him, it's even though the slightest scar can be seen through their eyes, they tend to observe and notice a lot of things like this. And um, there's a lot going on with their mind. You could be talking to a Gemini and they could be responding to you, but you just have no idea about the so many stuff going on about in their mind. Like, there could be different kind of sections of topics right there. And my mom is a Gemini, and sometimes I'm going to be talking to her about one topic or one scenario, and she'll answer back. But from time to time, she tends to notice the surroundings and make comments about my room, how I dress, those kind of stuff that are mostly out of the topic. And sometimes, things are quite quiet, just steers things up. They tend to say a lot of stuff. And sometimes, they just can't make up their mind because they want this thing, they want to go there, they just can't sit still. And it's hard for them to be in one place. They just have to be always moving, always doing something, all those sorts of stuff. So, and I noticed that it's kind of hard to communicate with Geminis, even though uh, they are the ruler of Mercury. And Mercury is has a lot to do with communication, taking things, you know, um, in a very mercurial way. But it's sort of like Virgo, but Virgo tends to put focus on the details about stuff. But Gemini is more of, you know, it's just like gossip. They just want to know things, and also they have this urge, um, the urge of wanting to experience a lot of things. So they will be repeating things over and over again until they learn something. It is a sign of learning, sign of study, those sorts of stuff. They can really invest themselves in that. And you would notice that wherever your Gemini is, you'll learn a lot on that specific house. Or there is something that has a karma, or something that you'll definitely gonna be doing repeatedly over and over again. That sort of stuff. So, for example, for me, my third house, which is related to Gemini, because the third house has a lot to do with communication, with with a lot of people, talking to a lot of people, with technology, those sort of stuff. I do have my planet of karma, Saturn, right there with Uranus. So ever since I was young, this is something that I've been, repeatedly doing. I've been doing a lot of online work, or I've been studying so many, so many things about the metaphysics. That's what I do. And having my Gemini on the ninth house, which we will be discussing later on, adds more power into the higher mind, learning. It's about knowledge, but it's about the occult, those kind of stuff. So yeah. Also, they can be quite restless, and this is the one thing that I really really hate about Gemini. It's like they cannot make up their mind. They tend to change things, and please do know that they are a mutable sign. It's hard for them to be fixed. It's something that you really don't see every day. So, and the issue for them is that they tend to like everyone, and which is a good thing. It's just that they tend to like everyone, but in a partnership, they also want to feel special for in relation to that person. That person should like them in a very special and passionate way. But it's more of, I kind of feel that this is more of a selfish side of a Gemini. They want to feel special, but they hardly make someone feel special because they like everyone. You know, again, everything comes in twos. So you would notice that a lot of Geminis tend to have, um, two partners or two businesses. You could be having a career about music, or suddenly you're having a career about spirituality. Those kind of stuff are one of the samples. So, and also, please do know that I'm not saying that all Geminis are cheaters. That's not the case at all. Um, these are just samples that I'm giving you, that everything comes in twos. It could be something about work. It doesn't have to be relationship all the time. Also, uh, they tend to really, really get nervous because their sign has a lot to do with the nervous system. So they are very, very prone to nervous breakdown, those sort of stuff. I do remember during my early teen years, I've been rebelling, and I remember my mom collapsing from a nervous breakdown, those sort of stuff. And a, I know a lot of people who have a lot of Gemini in their sign tends to have some form of panic attacks whenever things are not happening in the way that they want things to happen. So those are the things. Also, they tend to love coffee quite a lot, and it's not helping, especially if you are Gemini and it has to do with the lungs. So your lungs could be weak. So if you are a smoker and you're a Gemini, you could probably pay a high price with that because um, your lungs are going to be much vulnerable than usual. Again, has a lot to do with the nervous system. So yeah, and you would notice though that a lot of Geminis love to experiment things, love to learn something new. They are the type of people that, would suddenly go to YouTube and find DIYs, how to do this, how to do that, and I want to try this, I want to try that. Learning instruments could be the thing for them as well. They're really, really good speakers, good teachers. Um, those are the stuff that you could encounter with someone who has Gemini sign. So yeah, it's really just hard for them to stay in one place. You know, they cannot wait. They tend to move around quite a lot of times, so um, it's hard to pin them down at times. Also, it's very important for them to be mentally stimulated, especially in terms of love and relationships. It's really not about emotions, but it's all about the debate, how we are talking, what kind of conversations we make. Those kind of stuff are becoming very important for them. And even though it's mean, know quite a few Geminis that think that I kind of feel that this girl seems to be stupid because we don't talk anything that has a something to debate on. Because debate is their thing and their way to connect to that person in a very profound way. So it's very important to probably talk about current events, what's working about business, those sort of stuff. So yeah. So, yeah, for now, that's what I know about Gemini and Gemini rules the head as well, but not really the entire head, but it's more of intellect. It's your mind, it's your thinking patterns, those sort of stuff. And it's really one of the most important signs in the zodiac because we always think.